Yeah.
We're
Yep.
recording right now.
Recording,
Very good.
Okay. And then I'll figure out how to get the link and send it to you guys. So what did Ted say? It's important to remember that you can't break it, or I don't know, maybe Jed said it. Um,
Ed said it.
yeah, it's I don't profess to be an expert, so please, Alina, Jed, Ted, pipe in. I just thought it would be good to have a meeting. I had to go back in and review everything because it's been what, how many months? 7 months since I touched that side of submittable, um, and it is a little confounding at first. It's like, what is this? What is that? And my advice, whenever I'm teaching somebody how to use a new computer interface, is just to poke around, just mess around, just don't hit delete or reject. Other than that, you're probably, just click on things and see what they say and try things, and it's pretty much all fixable. So I'm going to share my screen. And where are we? Let's go to here. This one, share. And I am going to assume here that I am working from a desktop and not a, um, a phone. I find it easier. Anyway, so I'm just going to start from the beginning, sign in, and please excuse me if I'm being pedantic on any of this stuff, but we'll just start. So one of the things that when I first started doing this was I would sign into Submittable to work with my own work, and this would open up, and it's like, how do I get back to what I want to see? So if you see up in the right hand corner here, those are my initials.
Yeah,
Click on that, and I can go to my submissions. And that brings me out of the Bracken portal
yeah,
and into my stuff.
yeah.
So that took me a little bit to figure out. So what I'm gonna do is click on. Lynn's been really good. She's clicked on a bunch of things and dealt with them. I'm gonna go to this one because it has Maureen's poem. It has no rating, okay, and it says in progress. So multiple team members. I don't know who that is, so let's find out. And I click on their name. And here we are is the cover letter. Cover letters are always really interesting. You never know what you're going to find out in them, of course. And then actually, I find sometimes the cover letter is better than the writing in the submission. And they're fascinating, who is the person behind this? So up at the top ribbon, if you want to go back to where we just were, just click back to list, and it's going to bring us back. And I'm going to go back to Maureen's poem. Okay. And tell me if I'm going too fast. I'll slow down. Okay. You don't want to click this quite yet because Jet hasn't given any of you the okay to decline. So but that's what that is. Info, once again, just a really brief overview of where this person's from. Assignment. So it seems like this is where people were having some issues. So right now, it looks like Lee had reviewed this, if I'm not mistaken, and assigned it to me and Ted. So,
No, actually, I haven't gone in yet.
okay, I see your name there. Let's go back here. Um,
That's weird.
Back to list.
yeah, auto assigned. Let's look at the notes. No notes. Okay. Um, Somebody unassigned. Oh, Lynn. Okay. Lynn
Ah,
looked at this. She did not rate it, which is curious, but I think she might have just forgotten to. And so she unassigned all of you because she had looked at it and she assigned it to me and Ted. Okay?
but not to herself in between to do the evaluation of it, right?
Yeah, she she missed a step.
Okay.
So I click on assign, and it's me and Ted. So let's just say I'm going to take this submission. So I'm going to unassign Ted.
Okay, I'm gone.
Okay, Ted's gone. But what if I change my mind? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this one. I'm going to let Ted do it. So then I click on Ted and unassign myself.
And you could reassign it to Lynn to
I could reassign it to Lynn to rate.
leave comments and vote.
So I'm putting myself back up there. So it's me and Ted.
Gotta hit done to make it stick.
Hmm.
Oh, didn't I not hit done?
You did, but
I did. Okay, yeah. And that's one thing I would forget to do. Good point. So now I'm going to click on the poems. Here are the poems. Okay, I read them. And right now it's in messages, but we want to be in activity and rating. So when I'm done assessing these poems, I go right here and I give it either a thumbs up, which is a +1 if it's really good. If I'm like, maybe, I don't know, I give it a question mark. If it's definitely a no, a thumbs down. Ted or Alina, do you know how many poetry submissions we had last year, by any chance?
it was
You mean-
in the
And it
hundreds.
reached you about 800.
About 800. Oh my God. I read so many submissions, and probably 97% of them were thumbs down. And hopefully you'll get, when you find something that's marginally good, you're like, oh my God, such a relief. When you find a real treasure that you think this is fabulous, it's a moment of joy. So don't get discouraged, because it can be really, really discouraging. In fact, a couple of my friends thought it was going to poison my own writing by reading too many bad poems. I said, no, it's okay. I've been down this road before. So,
But I find that the notes are very, very helpful
Yeah.
at the next step to find out a little bit more of why you thought what you thought, especially if it's a thumbs up.
Yeah.
if it's a thumbs up, yeah. I don't know if I would bother myself writing notes if it's a thumbs down, because we have more readers this year, so the volume of what you read is going to be considerably less, and that's going to be helpful. Yeah.
Will
Although
you
for the
read
time
all,
being-
you'll read, I'm sorry, Ted and T, you will read the ones we thumbs down too?
Yes.
Okay.
One of us will.
One of us will.
Okay.
So for that reason, it might be helpful for the moment, because
Yeah.
you're not declining.
To put a note.
Mhm.
Just to actually put a note why.
Yeah, like why did you think
Unless
it was
it's
something?
quite obvious.
It's
But
good
even
point.
if it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
It's good for us to be seeing how you're thinking
Yeah.
more often than not at the moment. At least.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
And what,
Will we find out which poems are picked so that we can see how similar our thinking is to yours?
Of course. I mean, I can easily take it upon myself to say, "Hey, everybody, we've sent an acceptance, and here's the poem."
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think that would be interesting to know if
Yeah.
one of the poems that you read like actually made it to be accepted.
right.
That's actually really fun.
Yeah. T,
Yeah.
can you talk about the filters? Because you can choose to see whatever you want to see if you go back to the main screen.
That's true too.
yeah, very good.
TV accepts. Yeah.
Filters.
Filters.
Where are we? Show filters.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. I didn't do a lot of this because last year there were 2 readers, me and someone else, and she didn't do a lot of reading. So,
Well, I think the form is important, right? Because I'm going to start getting more art feature submissions. So if you at least select poetry submission
okay.
and then hit
And
filter.
then, and you can put a date in for
Sure.
if you want to, and a sign. This helps too. You can click.
So if you want to see what the finalists are, you can click on Jed's, assign to Jed, because those have at least cleared one or 2 bars.
Oh, okay. That's helpful.
Status. I think you can even click on accepted if you look at what's in status.
Yeah, go to status.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of
Oh,
this.
in the
Where's the
right-hand column,
status right
it's
here?
So do you only
new in
need
progress
one of us?
accepted. It's on. You can even look at all the ones we've accepted right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Yeah.
It's
Do
cool.
you only need one of us to read each poem? Like, are poems assigned to just all of us and it's whoever gets to it first, or we?
Yes, yes,
Okay. And if someone is already working on it, then we just move on to another?
exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Glad to clarify. Yeah.
How many poems do you think we should be taking per week? I mean, if we do have the time, I don't want to take away from other people's opportunity to read. Vice versa, I want them to pick up if I'm not able to get to a lot.
I have a very specific answer for you. A few.
Okay, perfect.
No, I think, people have varying time in varying weeks, varying energy. But, if you're enjoying doing a few, do a few and it'll all even out. That's what I think. Is that
And
fair?
once again, we have so many readers, it's going to be easier to do a
Yeah.
few at a time. I mean, it was really overwhelming last year. There
Right.
were
The end of
hundreds
the,
and hundreds. It was right at the beginning of the lockdown. So everybody was home and everybody was submitting everything,
Yeah. It was like
including myself, you know.
20 a day, something like that. At least it was crazy. So on that same page, T, you got a place where once you fuss with the filters, you can clear it all back to where it was at the bottom of the screen.
clear filters,
Clear
right?
filters. So then you get everything.
Everything.
Also, if there's a submission that ends up going missing, which sometimes happens, like we might get pinged about something. And anyway, sometimes the submission ends up being unassigned completely, even though we haven't dealt with it. So the filters would help us find it. There's an unassigned category. And there's also like the clear filters will bring up absolutely everything. And you can always search if you clear all filters, like I think you have now, and there's a search bar. You can use that
Mhm.
to type in anybody's name or even
Yeah.
like poem title, whatnot. This
That
helps us
really helps.
troubleshoot.
Yeah, once again, just poke around, you know. Seriously, after a while it'll get really easy. You can flip back and forth between pages and
Mhm.
things, and
So what I've started doing so far, just in the few that I've passed along to Jed, his name, it's assigned to him. That means it's going to be for his consideration. The other ones, the ones that I'm going to end up declining, I've left still on the list, but I want to give a polite couple of weeks between the submission and the decline. Just I just hate it when it comes snapping back to you in 10 minutes. We don't want it.
I think you're totally right, because in my own submissions, when I get it back within 24 hours and I sent like 5 poems, there's no way they spent the time with it to know what I said, and so it makes you
Right.
feel like nobody read it.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree. I like when they come back. I can go.
I'd like to know right away.
Because if they're going to hold them, knowing they're going to reject them, and then wait 6 months to reject them, it's like
2 weeks.
God's
2
sake.
weeks. Steve, 2 weeks.
I definitely
2
think
weeks is good.
there's too much time too, where you forget that you even submitted that poem to
Oh,
somebody.
yeah.
I have a submission out to a magazine called Artful Dodge, and Carolyn Wright was one of the poetry editors, but she's no longer doing it. It's been out for 2 years, and I'm leaving it in just for the hell of it. Just it's like it's already a record,
How long can we go?
Yeah, and Carolyn said the current editor was in the fall was going to pass it along to someone new, was going to clear out his deck, but it's still hanging out there, and it's like it's a fun statistic.
I would say one thing, so some of the magazines don't allow simultaneous submissions, right? We do. So for that reason, rejecting somewhat, maybe not in 24 hours, but rejecting sooner might be helpful to somebody who
Yeah.
send it elsewhere.
For sure.
That's true. Yeah. So there's a balance in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I have a question about our judgment as new readers, which
Yeah.
is, will you give us, say I reject something, or not reject it, but give it a thumbs down
Yeah,
or
sure.
even a thumbs up, and you guys feel it's really off, or you're trying to help me refine my eyes as a reader specifically for Bracken, are you going to feedback with us, or?
I'd love to. I mean, if I say you love a poem and I read it and I go, oy vey, then
Yeah.
maybe I'll email you and say, can we talk about that poem and your response to it? And I want to say what I see and tell me what you see, and let's just mutually play it a little bit so we're like getting more like in sync in some sense, right? So I'm expecting to have some, from time to time communication with you, and I want that. I mean, it's part of the kind of the fun of this, you know.
I mean, I think that would be helpful for everybody in writing their own poems too, is that,
Yeah.
getting feedback on what you look for or what impresses you as like a really great poem,
Right.
I think is very helpful.
And then there's this additional sort of layer of concern, which is what's a good poem for Bracken, right? And that's
Yeah, right.
actually harder to put your finger on, in
Oh
a
my
way.
goodness, that is so hard. We went around and around last year, remember, on the
Yeah.
statement of
It took a month to get a mission statement put together.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
meant to remain a little bit mysterious, but there you go. It's something else to be thinking about and talking about. Yeah.
Are you guys okay if I stop the share? Does anybody else have any questions about this interface? Are we good?
I
think we're good.
That was a great run
They're
through.
ordered. They're ordered in order of receipt, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
Cool.
And I think to add to actually, Jed, your response to conversation about the poems, I feel like in last issues, you normally would, if there's like a poem that some people really liked and you end up not going for it, I think you would leave notes in the actual submittable.
Could do
system.
that.
The only thing that I'm not sure about is, would you need different permissions to be able to see those notes? So I can look into that and see for you guys if you need to be bumped up. But for sure, when you are able to reject, you'll be able to see the notes. The question is, can you see them now? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you can see them, Alina.
Even if you're not.
Yeah, even if you're not listed, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like I have to look at the descriptions of the levels again.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Okay. We can verify that. What else comes up? Is there anything else worth talking about? T or any of us? A question, a thought, a worry, a hope?
I think that at first it was confusing to me how to do it, but I did what I always do with computer stuff, which is just like put my mouse on a bunch of things and see what it does. And I mean, eventually I think it's pretty straightforward now.
Okay.
Oh, I do have a question about length. Are there any preferences for length of poems?
Alina, you want to take that one?
Well, we do say in our guidelines that we prefer shorter ones. At least we used to. Do we still say that?
I'm not sure.
But I think, yeah, we lean shorter. I don't think we've published anything super, super long. I mean, partially it's because this is the digital medium. And I think, I don't know, I feel like it's weird to keep scrolling.
Mm.
Kind of
But there have been a couple of poems that are more than say one page, that do go on a bit and are just beautiful, and we take them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've also taken things that, like, we would take a few poems from one poet, right? And so that there would be a bit of scrolling, but it's broken up, which I think is a better experience.
Uh-huh.
Alina, does the guideline say 4 poems?
Yes, 4 or under, not
Okay.
more than 4.
And
And
read
so
the
you
cover.
said just read the first four if there's extra.
Yeah. Uh,
Well,
if you wanted to take the time, to send a note to the, I mean, that's totally discretionary and say, you've sent us five, it says four, I'm going to read the first four just so you know. It's like a little bit of communitarian feedback, like, hello, read the guidelines, but whatever.
Yeah, read the guidelines. What is the most
this person
ignored
already sent
piece
5.
of information in submissions? Read the
And
Yeah.
guidelines.
Yes.
regarding cover letters, is there ever a cover letter that's so poorly put together that you don't even move forward, or
Oh,
what's
no.
the fix on that?
Yeah, may I speak to that? I mean, I'm surprised at how many cover letters are only bios with nothing else. And I'm looking at that and go, that's not a cover letter, not where I come from. That's not a cover letter. But, you know, but I'll read the bio and I'll go on and look at the work. I'm interested in is the work, what we seek, and so, okay.
So you will, you'll move forward.
When I used to read all of this by myself, I would not read the cover letters until I have read the work because I find that it skews me.
Yeah.
Either I get too hopeful or too despairing, when I read the cover letter, and then it I don't know, there's a mismatch quite often.
That's
So
a great suggestion, Alina. I try and do that as well. I remember last time I went through these poems that were quite unusual, quite amazing in the use of language and so forth and so on. And I thought, I've never read anything like this before, ever. And I thought, wow, I wonder who wrote this. So I went down and looked at the cover letter. This is a person who is self-identified as Asperger's and a little
Oh,
beyond.
those
Uh,
were amazing poems.
yeah,
mhm,
Yeah, yeah. 18-year-old young man.
It was
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
yeah.
I hope he resubmits.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly an emerging talent.
Hmm.
and that part of what T and I are going to do is try and get a sense from your comments in a decline letter, how much encouragement should we be inserting into that, rather than just send a form letter.
Yeah, that's very important to us. We want to, at times, really say something back to the submitter when the work, really kind of gets us, even if we're not taking it then. Yeah.
You remember who was it? Was it David Wagner for Poetry Northwest used to send his decline, which said, what did it say? Like it was 4 words.
Yes,
Uh,
a variation on those 4 words.
sorry, not this time, or sorry to say no. I think that's what he said.
Sorry to say no. I have all those. I have all those paper rejection notes.
Oh.
Still. I have a whole file of them.
Wow.
Very sorry to say no. Sorry to say no. Very sorry to say no. Very sorry to say no again.
Again,
That's what it was.
yet again.
Yeah,
He remembered, that you were submitting.
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
What else comes up? It's great that we could
Oh.
gather. I'm sorry Cicely's not made it.
We have 10 minutes maybe left. T. I'd be really interested to know how all you folks who I haven't met before now got connected with Bracken or with Jed or
Yeah.
Alina. How did that all come about?
I think I'll find a lot of literary magazines, like I'll read someone's poem that I like, and then I'll go to their website and I'll look at where else they've published. I think it might have been a poem in Rattle, and the poet had also published in Bracken.
You just followed that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I had someone send me a link to Bracken saying, this looks like you. You should
About that.
read it. And I did. And then through publication with Bracken was
Published Kelly twice now.
with the Corona Hopelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Natalie?
Natalie
So
just
I've been sending my poems for publication for about a year, and I really wanted some experience reading people's poems that they're submitting. And so I found this on the Poets and Writers website. And I thought it seemed, I looked at your magazine and I read some of the poems and I thought they were very well done. So I thought this would be a great way for me to get even better at writing.
Great to have you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice hearing all these connections.
Yeah,
Really enjoyed that.
yeah.
How about you guys? How did you guys all connect?
Well, about probably 15 plus years ago, Jed initiated a, a poetry and spoken word twice a month. I think it was twice a month.
Yeah. Well,
Gathering.
it was once a week for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
It was twice a
It
month.
was called the North End Forum, and it sort of wiggled its way around from one bar to this maybe a space of 5 by 5 feet in a restaurant on a slow night, and it's got legs. It's still going. Called Easy Speak Seattle now. It's virtual.
It's a
So,
wonderful group. If any of you want to get on the
Yeah, yeah.
mailing list,
Oh,
go to Easy Speak Seattle and get on the mailing list. And we're meeting still the second and fourth Mondays of every month on Zoom, and it's really fun now because we get poets from all over the place. You know, because it's so easy this way. So we'd love to have any of you join us. You get 5 minutes max. Absolutely, you get cut off if you read longer than 5.
yeah. And the three of us were in a poetry group together for a while, which is sort
Ted,
of
Ted, you and I go back way farther than that.
yeah,
yeah.
back to Floating Bridge Press.
And meeting in Peter's basement. Peter Pereira's, yeah, like 20 plus years.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
well, it was 1991. 1991, so it's been 30 years almost.
For Floating Bridge?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's a long time. Was it 91 or 94? 91?
I think it was 91 because Peter and I ended up having poems both in the same issue of Seattle Review,
Mm-hmm.
and
Ah,
he happened to read mine and invited me to join the poetry group.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And that group went on until about a year ago.
Yeah.
It was twice a month, and then it went to once a month. And yeah, I started that group in 91.
Amazing.
And that group led to Floating Bridge Press, the start
Wow.
of Floating Bridge Press. So it's pretty
Right.
exciting to look back and see how these things kind of all, fall in through the years.
I
And
did.
is Alina the founder of Bracken?
Yes, and I'm not too connected to what was just discussed. I kind of, I am only like I was connected through Jed, who I met actually at one of these wonderful events. And I ran Bracken mostly on my own in the beginning, and then I asked Jed to be a poetry editor. And I read fiction and I did art. And then Jed brought in Ted, I think, as an assistant, or I forget what your first title was. Don't matter. You were helping out. It was great.
Gopher, that was it.
And we had other readers that came to us. We had Aaron Shlomsky Pritz. I don't know if I ever know if I pronounce her name right, but yeah, I mean, we had lots of really wonderful assistant editors and readers come through us. But the current crew, I think Jed asked T if she would like to read for us, and she agreed, thankfully. That was wonderful. So it was kind of a bit of a chain reaction how this happened. Yeah, but I started Bracken because I couldn't write for a few years. And so I wanted to do something that was useful for the community. And so that's how, I mean, yeah. And I was in Yorkshire Woods when the idea came to me, and then it just kind of
Wow.
became a reality. And yeah, I'm amazed and pleased that it's still going, even though I feel like I myself have moved on a little bit. I'm still running everything, all the behind the scenes things, but I'm not reading things unless unless Jed asks me to.
which I often do.
Yeah.
Final decisions on poems often involve Alina's sensibilities.
We often have
Yeah.
arguments about things.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Discussions, yes.
Yes.
Hey, I want to point out that I think it was a year ago last summer that Alina and Jed hosted a Bracken publication party for the anthology,
Yeah.
and it was held on a night, I believe it was in June. Is that correct? Close to the summer solstice in the Arboretum in Seattle, out in this like a terraced garden area, and the weather was absolutely divine. And we had fabulous food and alcoholic beverages, non-alcoholic, and music. We had this wonderful Celtic band. It was, Alina, that was absolutely probably the best party I've ever gone to.
I feel like I could say the same. Thank
It was, you did, it was absolutely fabulous. It was,
was totally a dream party, and the moon was full or nearly full. I don't know.
And
the
the
sky.
anthology ain't bad. It's a good
Perfect, right?
anthology. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of a best of, for the first, 6 issues, right?
Or 5. I don't know.
5, 6, I forget.
Yeah, it was great. We should repeat this when we can gather again and we put together another anthology.
Oh
So
my
maybe
goodness.
the
Let's do it.
poems you guys find now will end up in another published anthology. And this time I'll actually know what I'm doing. I'll be able to do it better. So,
The Californians, do they still have the Renaissance Fair in Novato?
Yeah, they do.
Did.
Well, I mean, not
I
right
think before the COVID-19.
Yeah.
it was
That's still running. Wow, that's great.
Uh, what else, gang? It's so great to actually meet and talk. I know we're all busy and we can't do this all the time, but this is just wonderful.
It
Well, maybe
really is. Oh my
maybe do it
goodness.
again in about a month,
Let's do it. Yeah.
Sounds great. That sounds great.
this might be good a way for you guys to discuss the poems that are,
Mm.
Mm.
hmm
That's true too. We don't have to just email. We can also Zoom. Yeah, absolutely. Just say the word, or I will, whatever.
Yeah, this was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you guys for showing up. All right. Hey,
Are we
take
done?
care, everybody.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Stay well. Stay safe.
Be a better year.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.